Like all railways, the island of Sodor is a busy place. Goods and passengers are constantly transported to and fro, up the line and down the line, all day. Lots of people often travel to Vickerstown, the last station at the end of the main line. But sometimes when an engine is busy, engines from the other railway terminate at Vickerstown and start their trains from there. If an engine terminates at Vickerstown late, they stay the night and go home the next day. One afternoon, Gordon was resting in the sheds. He had just arrived back with his first express and was having a rest, when suddenly an unfamiliar engine shoved into the yards. "Hello," she said. "I'm Duchess of Loughborough." "Oh, hello there. I'm Gordon." "Wow, I've heard of you. This island does have many famous engines." "Well, you could say that. Anyways, what brings you here to Sodor?" "Oh, I'm just here giving a tour, and I terminated at Knapford. I'm due to leave tomorrow." "I see. Well, you're welcome to stay in the sheds tonight if you want." "Why, thank you." The two engines got along well, and they talked till Gordon had to leave for his next train. That evening, after Gordon had introduced Duchess to the other engines, they were talking again about the old days of the Big Four, to the annoyance of some of the other engines. "Ever double-headed with an A1 before?" "Oh, yes, we almost went all the way to London that time." "Well, Duchess, when I was young and green, I remember going to London. You know the place? The station's called King's Cross." "Oh, yes. Wait, what?" "King's Cross. I thought you would have heard of it." Well, actually, Gordon, if I recall, the station's called Euston. Everybody knows that." "Well, I'm pretty sure I've seen lots of pictures in my LNER days, and I'm positive it's King's Cross." A few minutes later. "I'm telling you it's King's Cross. Are you sure?" What are you two on about now?" said Duck as he backed in. Yes, Duck, I need your word on something. Duchess here thinks that London's Euston, even though you and I both know that it's always been King's Cross." "What rubbish! You're both wrong. London's Paddington. I should know. I worked there as a station pilot." Oh boy. A long debate started, nothing ugly, but really annoying to some of the other engines. That said, "I'm going to Allsburg." "Gordon, come on. We both know there's only one right answer, and it's King's Paddington." They debated halfway through the night, and they debated once they awoke again. Soon it was time for Duchess to leave. "Oh, well, I must be off." "King's..." So long, Duchess. Have a safe journey." "Yes, I'll try. Thank you." Is she gone? I think so. Oh, that won't stand! The nerve of some engines. Can't they just admit when they're wrong? Some engines these days. Stupid things. I have no patience left in things like them. "Stupid yourself," retorted Duck. "I already told you. It's Paddington. Paddington. Do you hear?" "Oh, don't get me started, you little..." "For buffer's sake, quit arguing. Both make me tired. And besides, at least you two are agreeing on something." "What's that?" "London's certainly not Euston. Now please do me a favor and shut up when I'm trying to sleep." Gordon rolled away, still sulking to himself. "I know it's King's Cross. I'll go and prove it." But that was easier said than done. London lay far away beyond the end of the line. Gordon usually terminates the express at Vickerstown. Another engine would usually be waiting either with its own train or to take his coaches onwards. After Gordon went to turn around, he had an idea. If I didn't stop, he thought, I could go to London. Next day, as he was approaching Vickerstown, he decided to put his plan into action. "Steady, Gordon. We have to slow..." "Onwards, driver, onwards! I will make it to London. Oh! Bother. Was that really necessary, Gordon? Scolded the driver. You can't just decide to skip the station. The indignity. The next day, Gordon had another plan. He stopped in the platform as usual, but as the fireman was about to uncouple the coaches, he rolled forward, eager to go. His driver had to check him again. Not today, Gordon. Oh, come on. Gordon tried all sorts of tricks. He tried hiding past another train and continuing down the main line. Botheration. He even tried coupling up to the back of the train. Gordon, what are you doing? Oh, for Christ's sakes! That afternoon, Sir Topham Hatt spoke with Gordon. Gordon, I've heard about you trying to go to London, and as of now, I need you to do your job and only your job, which means no waltzing over to London. Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Right, and speaking of your job, I need you to do me a favor. Oh, yes, sir. What is it, sir? I need you to deliver important supplies from Knapford Harbor to the Search and Rescue Center. Oh, trucks. Yes, trucks, but you're a big and strong engine, and I trust that you're responsible enough to handle it. Am I right? Oh, yes, of course, sir. There's a good engine, and Rachel will handle the express for today. And so Gordon collected his train and made his way to the rescue center. Thanks for the train, Gordon. No problem. Wait, Harold, have you ever been off the island? Well, yes, a few times. Have you ever seen London Station? Have you? Sir, no, sir! Dang it! Well, I must get going, I suppose. Goodbye. Harold, what the heck was that? Later, Gordon was sitting in the siding outside the sheds when Rachel came up. Hey, Gordon. Yes? I saw Duchess in the yards at Vickerstown, and she told me to tell you that she'd send you a postcard from Euston if you wanted one. Oh, what cheek? Yeah, sorry, Oh, no, you're fine, Rachel. It's that Dutch... Ha! Even mainland engines are owning Gordon. What a life! Oh, buzz off, James. Yikes, sorry that you had to deal with that, Gordon. See ya. Oh, dear. I'll never get there. The next day, Gordon pulled his express into Vickerstown as usual. He uncoupled and went onto another line and waited until it was time to go home. To his surprise, the engine due to take the express onwards didn't come. The train waited and waited, and the passengers became irritated and concerned. Soon, the station master came up to Gordon's crew. The inspector's on the platform. He wants to speak with you, driver. So the driver walked off with him to the platform. He soon came back looking excited. Hello, said the fireman. What's happened? The engine for the express derailed as she was exiting out of the yard. Why? Nothing else can come in or out. And they want us to take the train to London. I said we would, if the Fat Controller agreed. They telephoned, and he said we could do it. How's that? Fine, said the fireman. We'll show them what the Fat Controller's engines can do. Hear that, Gordon? Looks like we're headed to London after all. What are we waiting for? Come on, said Gordon. Let's go! He had already filled up with coal and water, so he rode quickly over the crossings and back down onto the train. It was only a few minutes till the guard blew his whistle, but Gordon thought it was ages. Come on, we're off, he sung to the coaches. Boop, boop, goodbye, Duchess. I'll send you a postcard from King's Cross. Slowly at first, then faster and faster they went. Gordon found that London was a long way away. Never mind, he said. I'd like a good long run to stretch my wheels. But all the same, he was glad when London reached sight. The Fat Controller was sitting in his office later that day. I wonder how Gordon is getting... Pardon me, sir, but have you seen the news? Not yet, why? Ooh, just look at this, sir. Good gracious me, he said. There's Gordon. Headlines, too. Famous engine at London Station. Police called to control crowds. The Fat Controller read on, absorbed. Gordon returned next day. The Fat Controller came to greet him and his crew. I see you had a great welcome in London. We certainly did, sir. We signed autographs till our arms ached. And Gordon had his photograph taken from so many directions at once that he didn't know which way to look. Oh, good, laughed the Fat Controller. I expect he'd enjoyed himself. Didn't you, Gordon? Well, I enjoyed the journey and the arrival, sir, but that was all. What makes you say that? Well, sir, London's all wrong. They've changed it. It isn't King's Cross anymore. What's this? Duck was right for once. Oh, how convenient. I told you it was Paddington. I knew it. It's St. Pancras. Yes. Wait, what? Mm-hmm.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never.
The Fat Controller chuckled and went into his office. If only they knew. That night, Gordon and Duck were unusually quiet in the sheds. Well, I was still right anyway. It wasn't Euston. It was St. Pancras, but it wasn't King's Cross or Paddington either. Shut up, James. It's nice to be the one on the right for a change. I mean, first I get to take the Express that one time, because I stole it from you. Now I'm in the right naming a station, and last chance to shut up, James. I mean, with my shiny red coat, it's a win-win for me, am I right? Please excuse us. Guys, what's happening? James, say hello to my little friend. Ready, aim, fire! Please don't let me fall off the cliff, Mr. Diesel-10. How can I fix this? Well, if you give me a nice Coca-Cola, I think I'll change my mind. Concrete!